19. As the summer days get shorter, parents, time to start thinking about getting your kids ready for heading back to the classroom. We're just weeks away from the start of school. And there are a few key things to keep in mind while you're doing this. Here with a checklist of what to do to prepare your kids for getting back into school, local physician's assistant Andrew Boyer. It's good to have you. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so some simple things to remember, and that's what we all like when we're so busy getting the kids ready to get back to school with the school supplies list and all kinds of things that you have to remember. What's one of the first things that parents need to consider?
So one of the first things that the parents need to consider and even have done is going to be a physical.
Okay. What does that involve?
So there's different types of physicals for students. If you have a college freshman, oftentimes some colleges may require a physical before they start the first day of school class.
Sure, yeah.
We'll talk today.
That's right.
For middle school and high schoolers, a sports physical may be required if they're going to be involved in any kind of sports or athletic leagues.
So it would be good to sort of head it off and maybe get that now. You might as well have it on record, right, if you're going to need it eventually later in the school year.
Yes, because sometimes if you want to get it through your primary care, you kind of have to rush and try to get appointments. Minute Clinic does offer them as well.
Okay, so that's good to know. So this is kind of in line with physicals. Vaccinations. New Mexico requires them. What can parents expect with that?
So this is the student's most favorite thing when the needles come out.
Yes, it is, unfortunately.
Yes. So
what has to be done?
New Mexico does require vaccinations. One of the most that I see are going to be at 7th grade. New Mexico requires a Tdap booster, which is a tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis.
Okay.
The other ones that are recommended are going to be the HPV and the meningitis, but they are not required.
Okay.
The flu season is going to be coming soon. So the flu season, the flu shot is going to be strongly recommended, and it will be available mid to late August.
So these are things to remember yet again, maybe with your doctor. I know the health department is also offering a program that helps kids get some vaccinations if they need to.
And Minute Clinic also offers vaccinations.
Good deal. So some kids will also have to bring medicines with them to school, and I know you've got a sample of at least one here. What do they need to do before they send their kids to school with medicines or even over-the-counter stuff? What do parents need to remember there?
So for over-the-counter and prescriptions, it's very important that you check with the school because it varies from district to district, school to school. So you want to go ahead and meet with the school and the school nurse, especially if the student is on prescription medications, because oftentimes they can't keep them in their backpack. So you want to make sure that the nurse is aware so that the student can get access to their medications if they need them.
Good idea. I want to make sure we get the last two in here. It's cold season. You were saying flu season. There's also cold season that's coming up, unfortunately.
Yes, so that we're going to talk about hygiene. There's a couple different things with hygiene. Hand hygiene is always very important. You want to wash your hands. Water bottles are a pretty big culprit. And with those, you don't want to share because you can spread viruses, germs very easily. You also don't want to share towels in the locker room. You can spread viruses, bacteria, such as staph infections.
Things to remember there. Lastly, sunscreen, even though kids are going to be indoors. Why?
Yes, with New Mexico's estimated 310 days of sun, maybe not so much with the rain this year, they're still going to be outside, they're still going to be participating in sports, they're still going to be in PE. It's recommended that they get at least an SPF 30. It's going to be a broad spectrum protection because that's going to offer protection for UVA and UVB rays. Anything over 30 really isn't going to offer that much more protection besides 1 to 2%.
Good to know, even if they're going to be indoors, that they do need to have that too. And of course, there's recess too and things outside, I'm sure, for elementary kids that they're going to need to keep track of. All right, all these things you can find too from the Minute Clinic and get more information on our website, krqe.com. Andrew, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be right back.